Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Anushree, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you my journey in making the 6-day star blanket. I've made the blanket, but I'm going to take you back to 6 days ago when I first started making this blanket. Basically making this blanket because I have a shit ton of scrap yarn which I kind of want to get rid of so that I can buy more yarn. And ironically enough, I have all this yarn because of my first blanket, in which I used like 10 different shades and I kept on buying more yarn. So now I'm trying to get rid of it. And so a great way to do that is by making like this star blanket, which is basically designed by Betty McNibb. So from my investigation that I've done online, you need to make like 9 setup rounds. And then after that, you're supposed to make 6 rounds every single day. So since today's like my first day, I think I'm gonna try to make the first 9 rows and then I'm gonna see how much I can do after that. But yeah, let's begin. This is all the scrap yarn that I have. Some of them don't really look like scrap yarn, to be honest. Like I have a lot of yarn, like some shades, but some of them are scrap yarn. Like I don't think I could make any project out of like this little amount of yarn. So I think making a star blanket out of it would be perfect. So I just finished with my first 8 rows. This is supposed to be it for day 1, but since I've only been crocheting for around like 1.5 hours so far, I'm pretty sure I can start with day 2 and do as much as I can. So in like one of the rows, I think this is row 6, I added like this fuzzy yarn, and honestly it feels super soft because of it. The next row was a little difficult to crochet because I couldn't see the exact stitches, but once I got past that, I think it looks pretty good so far. Yeah, so this is it. It is Sunday night. I've been crocheting for like a large part of the day. I did go out and I went out to meet one of my friends, so I used the metro and I even crocheted in the metro. Like I was one of those people today. I think that's the first time I've ever crocheted in like public. So I'm pretty happy with how much I've done, but this is really concerning me for how much more I'm gonna have to do, because I've done at least 15 rows today and I know for a fact that this is not nearly enough and I'm gonna have to do a lot more. So I'm a little worried. My back hurts. I'm gonna do some yoga after this. So this is the reveal. So this is day 1. I used another row of that fuzzy yarn, and honestly I think it's like a game changer. I haven't seen a lot of people adding that to their blankets. I don't know why. I personally love it. Like it's making the blanket significantly softer, but it's not in every single row. It's just in 2 rows so far, but it's making the blanket altogether softer. So honestly, game changer in my opinion. I'm gonna be adding that in every like 5th or 6th row. I'm gonna be adding like a row of just fuzzy yarn until I'm not like finished with it, and I still have a lot more to go. So yes, but yeah, this is the blanket so far. Loving it. I added like this row of like neon green. I think I might regret that later, but I was feeling excited. I was feeling epic at that time, so I'm gonna go with it. So today is day 2 of the 6-day star blanket challenge. I was supposed to go to work today, but I got my period, so I'm taking the day off to rest. I'm gonna try to crochet like a little more than I probably would have been able to if I had gone to work, but I am gonna like rest up as well. But this is my progress from yesterday. I crocheted a little more than I had shown last night, and I ran out of this yarn, so I had to put in like this random color. But yeah, this is how it looks so far. This thought just occurred to me, like I'm making this blanket out of like my scrap yarn, but what if I like finish up all my scrap yarn and I still have to like make more in the blanket? So like the funniest thing would be that like I have to buy yarn specifically for a blanket that I was making to finish up my scrap yarn. Like that would just be so sad. But like I wouldn't even be surprised if I ended up doing that, because I'd be like, oh, but this blanket's turning out so good, it deserves yarn that was specifically bought keeping this blanket in mind, and then I go out and buy yarn. So as if on cue, I'd ordered some yarn like a few days ago and I just got it, and now I'm actually worried that I'm gonna use this yarn that I had actually thought what I'd make with. I'm gonna use it on this blanket. So I recently bought like knitting needles, and I know how to knit. I just wanted to get back into it because knit sweaters look really nice. So I went and bought some yarn that I could maybe knit with, and I also wanted to make myself a hat, so I bought yarn kind of keeping that in mind. And oh my god, it looks so good. Okay, so in India there's this store called Magic Needles that sells really nice yarn. So they're like really good quality. So okay, so these are the yarn that this is the yarn that I bought keeping in mind like making a sweater. I just really like this color. I thought like a sweater of this color would look really nice, like a knit sweater. And this is the yarn that I bought for making the hat because it's purple. So yeah, now I even have like a little unboxing. So today is day 3, and so far I haven't crocheted anything, and I'm feeling weirdly optimistic. I'm gonna show you my progress. So this is where I'm at with the blanket so far. It's not a blanket, but it's definitely something. I was showing this to my mom yesterday, and she was like, I just showed it to her and I didn't tell her what it was, and she was like, oh, are you making a mat where you can sit? Like in Hindi it's called an asan. She was like, are you making an asan? And I was like, no, it's a blanket. And she was like, okay. Like she was like kind of in disbelief, like how is that gonna be a blanket? But I was like, Mama, you just need to trust the process. You need to trust me, and this will be a blanket. Okay, so it is now day 5 technically, but I haven't crocheted anything and I'm gonna go to work now. So I thought I'd just like do a quick recap of what I did for day 3 and day 4. So on day 3, I only did 3 rows because I didn't get any time, but yesterday I did around 5 rows. So I have now added 8 rows since the last time I showed you my update. And it's gotten pretty big. Like I was impressed. So this is how big we are at the moment. This is easily the size of like a baby blanket, I think. So if I decide to give up now, I just need to find someone who has a child and then I can give them my blanket. But no, I think I'm gonna go more. I don't have that much yarn left. I really thought that like my scrap yarn would be enough for the blanket, but I don't. I've already finished a lot of my scrap yarn, and the colors that I have left are like, so unfortunately they're my least favorite, which makes sense because why else would I have not used them if I liked that color so much. And I did end up using one of my new yarns, so that's just great, but it's okay. It was actually the last row that I made, so this is that yarn that I bought, which I really didn't want to use for this project, but here we are. And honestly, I think I like it, so whatever. So today is Saturday, and technically the 6-day challenge should have ended today, but yesterday I had like a work late dinner thing, so I didn't really get the chance to crochet anything. So I woke up today, I crocheted a few rounds, and the thing is that my blanket's like big, but I could make it like 4 or 5 more rows bigger, and then it would be like perfect. So now I'm kind of just gonna ignore the 6-day challenge. I'll make like an Instagram video for it, but like, and now I just want the star blanket to be like big, and like I really want it to be like a blanket. but I'm gonna show you what I've done. So this is where we're at right now with the blanket. So technically I'm done. Like I'm done with like my 6 days, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna add like maybe 5 to 6 more rows. Yeah, but like honestly I love it. It's so soft, and I like how the colors look. They're really complementing each other. So if I could give any like piece of advice for anyone who's like going for the 6-day star blanket challenge, the first advice that I would give is that it is very much doable. It sounds kind of crazy, like making a blanket in 6 days, but genuinely speaking, I was super busy. I had work every single day. I had to come home and like do all these chores, and I was really only giving like 2 hours mostly on the weekdays to crochet, and that was honestly enough. I did start off like the first 2 days I did spend like a lot of time crocheting, and like I had already made the blanket quite big by the time I started with like the 2-3 hours a day situation. It's very much doable is the first thing that I would say. Second, start with like a big crochet hook to begin with. So I started with the 4mm for like a few rows, then I went up to 5mm for like maybe 2 rows, and then I've been using the 5.5mm hook for the rest of the blanket, and I think that helped. Third, use colors that kind of complement each other. So like I didn't really use like a ball of yarn. I know a lot of people like using the ball of yarn, which has like the colors changing automatically. I was just changing the color like every row. I did start off with only using scrap yarn, but then I finished that, so then I just started using yarn that I kind of just had. So that's the third thing that I would say. Besides that, I just say enjoy the process, because the blanket honestly looks pretty nice, and it's definitely usable. It's soft and it's like light too. It's not super heavy. So yeah, just keep going. It's worth it. Like the challenge is fun, exciting, and totally worth it. So I just finished making the last row for my blanket, and I'm all done just in time. Like the sun's just about to set. It's like 6 p.m. right now on Sunday. So it took me exactly 1 week to finish the star blanket. Honestly, I'm quite impressed by myself, by how much I was able to crochet in a week. Last week when I started, I did not think that I'd make so much. I really thought it would take me like 2 weeks to finish. But I was quite impressed by like my consistency and my dedication towards crocheting like the 6 rows every day. I think I was able to do it almost every day except a few days where I just had too much work. But yeah, I'm quite happy with myself. So here is the final reveal. Voila. The blanket's almost as big as I am, so that's where I was like stopping. I was like, yep, so the blanket's around my size, like I'm good to go. I'm good to end the blanket. So this is how the blanket looks, like all wrapped up around me. It's super lightweight. The yarn that I used wasn't really bulky. It was mostly like lightweight cotton yarn. So the blanket's also like super lightweight, but it's soft and cozy. The soft yarn that I used, and like after every like 6-7 rows really helped. That's actually the last yarn that I used, so it just gives it like a softer look and a softer feel. So would recommend using that. But yeah, overall it's awesome. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked how the star blanket turned out, and if you also want to participate in the star blanket challenge, let me know in the comments. Do subscribe, and I'll see you for the next video. Thanks, and bye.